shadow in the government's game. Pawn as a child with no face and no name. They stole my past to leave me cold and alone. Always searching for a place I could call home. I was lost in the dark, just a tool in the hand, till she pulled me close and helped me understand. Now the fire inside is starting to rise. I can see the truth through 1,000 lies. Now I tear through the veil, leave holes in the sky. I can read every thought in the blink of an eye. Danica, my witch, she's the magic in me. Yeah, I finally found what they took from me. With a hellhound beside me, I'm standing my ground. No longer a ghost that's never been found. In the dead of the night, I can hear the call. All the ghosts of my past scratching through the wall. My eyes change colors, the power has grown. With Crowley the hound, I am never alone. I used to be hollow, a man made of glass, but now I am reclaiming every year that has passed. Every memory is falling right back into place. I know every name and I remember every face. Now I tear through the veil, leave holes in the sky. I can read every thought in the blink of an eye. Danica, my witch, she's a magic in me. Yeah, I finally found what they took from me. With a hell beside me, I'm standing my ground. No longer a ghost that's never been found. I ain't running no more, yeah, I'm ready to fight. Gonna settle that debt in the depth of the night. They tried to break me, they tried to erase, but they can't hide the blood from the scars on my face. The veil is thin and the engine is hot. I'm taking back everything that they thought I forgot. Now I tear through the veil, leave holes in the sky. I can read every thought in the blink of an eye. Danica, my witch, she's the magic in me. Yeah, I finally found what they took from me. With a hellhound beside me, I'm standing my ground. No longer a ghost that's never been found. I remember it all now. Every single face, I'm calling for you in the dead of the night.
Hello, everybody. My name's Henry. For those of you that don't know, for those of you that do, welcome back. Tonight, I'm going to tell you a story about something that happened that we still don't have no answers for. Now, growing up as a kid, I had met two young guys, other boys. They was about 5 years younger than me. Now you're probably wondering, how did I meet these boys? They were somewhat neighbors. They lived about 3 miles from the house. And William, I was hanging around with his brother because he was my age, or close to my age. And as we kind of grew up together a little bit, he found higher class friends. So I knew his younger brother from going to spend the night at his house and hanging out with him, and eventually I figured out that I had more in common with the younger brother. So I started hanging around with him and his cousin. Now, William, his cousin was named Bobby Dean, and I'd talked about these two boys in a previous video. Bobby Dean was one we called Pollock because he was all the time doing funny, crazy ass shit. I mean, he was like a barrel of monkeys on steroids. He could go like the Energizer Bunny And then just all of a sudden, certain point of night, it was like the battery died. He'd just plunk, fall over asleep. Because he was running wide open all day and biggest part of the night. He was a good kid, though. Even as he grew up, I don't see him as much as I once did, but periodically I'd run across one of them at Walmart, and William kind of changed a little bit, but Polak, he's still the same Polak, even though that he's married and got kids now. He's still just as funny and high energy, like a live wire. But between the two, Polak, as far as I know, never messed with any kind of dope. Didn't even really drink. Married and got kids. And I haven't seen him in years, but last time I seen Polak, he had a nice wife. And I think she kind of drained a little bit of energy out of him, because the last time I seen him at Walmart, you could tell he used to have that live wire, because you see that spark in his eye, but it had been kind of turned down a little bit. I guess maybe she helped turn him down, I don't know. But he's still a good guy. Now, let me give you an idea about these two boys. I was the oldest by about 5 years. So them two always joked around that I was the old man in the group. Always giving me hell about being the old man. Just because they was 5 years younger. Because those two were about the same age. There's only like a couple months difference. But William, and I don't mean this in a bad way, I'm just calling it the way it is, or the way it was. He was a heavy-set, chunky kid. His parents really never made him exert himself. So, he was kind of born with a golden spoon that never got taken away until later. Now, on the other hand, me and Polak, we had to work for any and everything we wanted. William, he'd say, man, I'd like to have a brand new Zebco 404. Hell, his parents would get, here's $50. You might need some fishing lures and stuff. Me and Polak, we had to go out and put up hay. Now, this William, his parents owned a farm. And they rented a couple farms. But me and Polak would go over there and put up hay for William's dad. And while me and Polak was out there putting up hay, William was asleep downstairs. So, and I don't mean that really in a bad way. It was just his parents really never made him do nothing. He just kind of floated through life. But he was a good person at heart. I mean, he'd do anything in the world for you. So, that's why us three stuck together. Plus, there wasn't a whole lot of other kids that we wanted to hang around with. We was content just us three, like three's company. Well, like I said, I am going to tell you this. Before you're born, you have a choice. You have a choice. Are you going to be the first part of life, from birth to the middle part, is going to be hard. Or you can take the easy way out and have it easy, like William, in the first part of your life, but in the latter part of your life, until you die, you're going to have to switch roles. So if you start out easy, you're going to have it rough in the end. But if you start out hard, it gets easier from the middle to the end of your life. So keep that in mind. This is true. Me and Polak had it rough, and now me and him's got better lives, but William had it easy, and right now he's divorced and raising 3 boys, and his mom, the house that he grew up in, his mom got tired of him nickel and diming, but that's the way she raised him. And after his dad died, she married another man, and she moved out of the house that her and William was living in, and the grandkids, and she moved in with this other guy, and she goes, I'll send you money, so you don't need to contact me for money. When you come to visit, but call ahead. So see, now he's going through the rough patch. I just wanted to throw that in there because it's a point that needs to be made. It's true. Think about it. But anyway, like I said, growing up, me and Polak had to work for what we wanted. You didn't work, you didn't get. But our parents wasn't just going to hand you something, except for an ass kicking. Well, every chance we got, see, those two were still in school. And every chance we got, I'd either hitch a ride the motorcycle, mini bike, whatever the heck I could find, or walk even sometimes. Or to William's house, because Polak lived down at the bottom of the hill, so he'd just walk up the hill when he was done with his stuff. And I didn't dare go to his house and say, hey, stop what you're doing and come on. No, when I get up there to William's house, we'd call and leave a message on the voicemail. The caller ID. Hey, Polak, whenever you get done with stuff, come up, man. We're going camping tonight. We're going squirrel hunting today. And whenever he got done with his stuff, he'd come up. But see, if you went down there to talk to him and tried to drag him away from his stuff, it would get him a good ass kicking. So we just didn't do that. And of course, you know, they were both good boys, but like I said, 2 of us was raised totally different than the one. But we become good friends anyway, you know. Well, this one summer come along, and it was the start of summer. And each one of us boys had went and got our own new fishing poles. Now, us 3 boys love Zebcos. Damn good reels. Well, I don't know how it is anymore, but used to, you could buy the rod and the reel together, one package deal. We always checked out the Zebco, and we'd always look through magazines at Zebco. We just loved Zebco fishing poles. Loved to fish. Like I said, Bobby Dean Polak, he was kind of the life of the party. William, he was more of the one that got the joke played on him. Me, I was the oldest, so I was kind of, most times, the voice of reason, but then in other times, I was the one that said, oh, what the hell, let's go ahead and do it anyway. Well, together we made one hell of a trio. But anyway, that summer started, and we had big dreams of fishing, squirrel hunting, maybe a little bit of coon hunting too. Anything to do with outdoors. If you was away from the houses, the parents, the grown-ups, out of sight, out of mind. They couldn't find something for you to do. So we would all meet up at William's house and take off, and hell, we might be gone all weekend fishing, camping, sometimes even squirrel hunting. Take our sleeping bags and just camp and fish, camp and hunt, just having a good time. Well, anyway, like I said, that summer come along, and Bobby Dean's mom, old Pollock's mom, she come up. We thought it was funny because normally Pollock would walk to the top of the hill. But his mom come up in the old car she was driving and called me and William outside. And she goes, "Hey, look, boys, I don't know if you know it, but most of the winter, Bobby Dean, he's been kind of under the weather." "What do you mean?" "He's just been sick." Well, we noticed that he hadn't been calling or going. And whenever we'd call and ask, they'd be like, "Well, he's sick." Well, we thought it was just a flu or a cold or something. Well, she proceeded to tell us that he was wearing out fast and pretty sick, so kind of go easy on him, you know. If he gets tired, let him just kick back. She'd really appreciate it if he just stayed home. But that's no problem, we won't bother him. But it's okay if we come down to your house and maybe just see him for just a few minutes sometime? We'll call ahead. She goes, "Oh yeah, anytime you want to." She goes, "But he's driving me nuts, he's wanting to go fishing." Okay. Now, us boys had been through a lot of thick and thin. We'd been through a lot of shit together. Now, they didn't know about the things that was going on with me and the projects, but I try to keep that away from everybody. But anyway, she goes, "Give him about 30 minutes. He's got to take some medicine, and I'm going to send some medicine with him. But boys, just take him back to the lake back there and let him just sit there on the dock in the shade and fish. And don't try to get him to go swimming. Don't try to exert him or excite him too much. And as soon as you guys are done, just bring him back home." Well, what's wrong with him? "He's just in bad shape." Well, that should have told us that it was something serious, but being kids, we didn't figure that far. So we didn't know that he could be dying. But the longer we thought about it, we started thinking that direction, maybe. So she left, and later on, she come up back up in the old car and had him with her. And he got out, and we noticed that he was real just sickly looking, tired, and just... But he tried to put on a smile, because he always had a damn smile on his face. He got out of the car and had a smile from ear to ear. He was pushing them glasses up that he wore. He got in the trunk, got out his tackle box and fishing pole. And he started walking, and she hollered at him, and he stopped and looked straight at her, and she goes, "Now you remember what I told you, Bobby Dean. Do not exert yourself. Do not be running around acting crazy. when you get tired, rest. If you need to come home, you tell those two to bring you back. Or at least bring you up to the house, and then I'll pick you up here. She goes, you either follow what I'm telling you, or you can just pack your stuff up and I'll take you back home. You know that you're not doing good. Well, he still had a smile on his face, and he goes, okay, I promise. She goes, now I mean it. You're the only child I have. I'm not going to lose you because of horse playing. Well, that right there sent chills down our bones. We knew right then and there it was something serious. So we got the old William's dad's truck out, and I was the oldest, so I was going to be driving. We loaded stuff up in the back of the truck, and Bobby Dean wasn't bouncing around and stuff like he was. He's kind of like Tigger the Tiger, bouncing around on his tail, hopping all the time. Just acting crazy. It's funny shit, But he wasn't like that. He was just like he was really drained. Dark circles around his eyes. Real pale, ashy gray color. When normally he had a fairly decent tan in the summer. Well, he climbed in the center of the seat, sat down, and we finished loading stuff in the back of the truck. That way we didn't make him exert himself. We loaded everything. William climbed in on the passenger side, and I got behind the wheel, and we headed down that old dirt road past the house there to go back to the lake. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about this lake. Old man Barry, that used to live in the house at the time that William was living in with his parents, he built that house. He also built 2 ponds back in the hayfields and this great big lake. And this lake accompanied probably about 5 acres of lake. That's how big it was. You could damn near ski on it. It was deep. Though in the time you go back there, that water was a bluish green color. It was deep. We had a lot of fun back there. Well, he had stocked that thing. He used to be a school teacher up in Alaska. And he'd come home on summer vacations and go back there and spend most of his time back at the lake until he retired. And then when he retired, he just never left the place hardly until he died. Well, then William's parents got it and moved in. Now, this lake had bluegill, sunfish, crappie, bass, and about 5 different types of catfish. And I'm not joking. I seen some of the fish that Mr. Barry stocked in that big lake. There was catfish turned loose that, I kid you not, would go between 60 and 80 pounds. 5 and 6 foot long catfish. These things were huge. So it was well stocked. Well, just want to give you a little rundown about this lake. Now, when they was digging that thing out, they hit a spring, and that's what filled that lake up. They hit an underground spring, an underground river. And it filled that thing up. And let me tell you something. It could be 100 degrees out, actual temperature. And that water always stayed between 65 and 70 degrees. The deeper you went, the colder it got. I know, we used to swim in it. It was cold. But it was a beautiful lake. I haven't seen it in years. Another person ended up buying the place. And William moved away, and Pollock ended up moving away. But I ain't kidding you, that lake was just, it was beautiful. Now, they claim, I don't know for a fact, I did try to swim to the bottom just to prove that I could grab some mud off the bottom. They claim that the deepest places in that lake is like 60, 65 foot deep. Because there was places that, back then I could hold my breath a long time and I could swim real good. And there were certain areas I couldn't touch bottom in. I never could make it to the bottom. Either the cold would get me, or I'd start running out of air and I'd be heading back to the top. But anyway, this particular time, we went back there and there's great big oak trees around that lake. Big giant dock. So we got the chairs out, set them out on the dock. And they always had a John boat tied up there. Didn't have no motor, we just used boat oars. Like I said, we was poor kids. Well, we set up everything, and then Bobby Dean Pollock, he come walking slow. We told him, we said, we put you facing the front part of the dock. We give him the best spot because he was sick. That way he didn't have to try to throw around one of us, cast his pole. And me and William took sides on each side of him. William was on one side and I was on the other side. So, like I said, we gave him the best spot. Least amount of trying to cast around all of us. Because he wasn't feeling good. So we was sitting there, and now normally, just to give you an idea about Pollock, this is how he got his name, Pollock. Normally, if he caught a small fish, a sucker, you know, one of them ones that's bait stealer, he'd grab that fish, unhook it from the hook, and then hold it up, look it straight in the eyes, and be hollering at this fish. Don't be coming back no more. You get out of here and go find your mama or your big brother or your daddy, because next time you swim up and steal my bait and I catch you, I'm going to cut you up for bait. I mean, he'd be just hollering. You could hear him plumb across the lake. And we'd be over there just rolling, laughing. Sometimes he'd throw in some colorful cuss words, and we'd be over there just rolling, laughing at him. But this day, he wasn't doing it. Small fish would bite, and he'd yank, because he'd see the cork go down a little bit, and he'd yank and pull it in, and he'd just smile at us, you know, like, you know, if I was feeling better, you know, I'd be telling this fish off. Had he been feeling better, he'd probably throw that so much halfway across the lake. But he took it off and tossed it back in the water, and we ended up catching, now we had 4-foot stringers and a basket, and I still had the basket. We had them 4 stringers. By the end of the day, we had them full of fish. Now, we was going to fish all day and then take Bobby Dean back whenever he started feeling bad, and then me and William come back and finish out. But we ended up with 4 stringers plumb full of fish. My fish basket was plumb full to the top. We had a lot of fish because we wanted to have a fish fry, and we decided that we was going to have it for him. Well, he was sitting there and he goes, guys, he said, I know you guys want to take that boat. Because we'd always take the boat and go around the edges and catch bass and crappie with little flies, some little small lures. Like, no, that's okay. We'll just sit here with you. No, guys, I'd really enjoy it if you guys would just get in the boat and just go around the lake and fish like we always do. I'll sit here and just fish and watch. Well, what are you going to say? We didn't want to leave him there, so we decided that since that's what he wanted us to do, we wouldn't go all the way around the lake. We would keep where we could see him. That way, if there's any problem, we could hurry up and go into shore and run over there to make sure he was okay. So we sit there for a little bit longer, and he goes, "Come on, guys. Makes me feel bad. You guys are just sitting here, and I know you guys are wanting to catch some fish for a fish fry." Like, okay. So we turned the boat over and launched her into the water. And he goes, "Now remember, them great big bass that you see all the time along the shoreline? Yeah?" He said, "If y'all get catching too many," he said, "catch me one great big one." And he said, "You holler at that son bitch and you tell him you're going to turn him loose on one condition, that he swims over to the dock and I'll catch his ass." We all started laughing. It's like, "Okay, Pollock, we will. We'll hold it up where you can see it. And we'll throw it back in and tell it to go bite your line. That way you can claim you caught it." He just kind of laughed a little bit. You could tell his heart really wasn't into it. Well, we grabbed boat oars, and William was in the front because he wasn't worth a shit at steering. So I was in the back, and we was paddling along, and of course Pollock hollers after. He said, "You know what you guys look like? Laurel and Hardy. You keep talking and we're going to hit you with a fucking boat oar. You know that big fish you wanted to catch and send back to you? We might send you a minnow or a stinkfish." I'd shut up if I was you. So we kept paddling around. We could still kind of keep an eye on him. Periodically we'd holler back, "You need to go home? You tired? Not feeling good?" "No, I'm okay." So we stayed out there catching fish and putting them on the stringer and in the basket. And he was catching fish over there he was at. We looked over one time, and there he was. He had his pole in the pole holder and was kicked back, his mouth wide open, his eyes shut, legs stretched out in front of him, both arms dangling down from the chair. We wasn't sure if he died and passed out or what the hell happened. So we started quietly paddling that away, and all of a sudden we hear him. It sounded like a herd of bullfrogs over there. It was him snoring. He would make a bullfrog snore, kind of like a bear growl, and then a whistle. And we knew he was snoring, so okay, he ain't dead. Shit, we have to go bury him back there at the lake. So we're like, okay, he's sleeping, so we'll just keep fishing and watching him. Now, I always thought this lake was magical. And after this day, I knew it was. We were just sitting there fishing, having a good time, feeling sorry for our buddy. I told William, I said, "You think he's going to die?" He goes, "Well, he don't look so good. He's been sick quite a while. He ain't acting like himself." "Yeah, I know. But you think whatever it is, maybe they can cure him, or you think he's actually going to die, you know?" He's like, "I don't know." He said, "They don't really talk about it much." He said, "That's my aunt and uncle. They ain't never said nothing to us about it, other than he's just been sick." Well, we started thinking the worst. So we're trying to stay upbeat and fish. So we decided we was going to use the fish for a fish fry in his honor. Make him the honorary guest. Well, we tried to catch as many fish as we could, and next thing you know, it was like somebody cast a spell on us. I mean, we was catching fish just fast as we could get baited and throw in. Just all of a sudden, there wasn't no warning. I fell asleep. Around the same time, William fell asleep. We're both asleep, got our fish poles in the pole holders on the boat. In case we got a bite, that way we wouldn't lose our poles, because we'd lost a few poles in that damn lake. Could never get them back because they went to the bottom. Now, sometime or another, both of us heard a splash and the boat was rocking. Now, we was laying perfectly still, sound asleep in that damn boat. So, we looked at each other and went right back to sleep. Next thing you know, it happened again, but this time water got splashed all over. I mean, we were drenched. And I woke up looking at him like, well, you little bastard. And he looked at me thinking the same thing. But neither one of us had done it. Like, what the hell? So, like, well, fuck, we ain't gonna be able to get to sleep because we both got wet. We got soaked by something. So William sitting there and he goes, you don't reckon there's a beaver in here, do you? I said, why in the hell would there be a beaver in this lake? There ain't no stream off of it from the dam up, so why in the hell would they be here in the lake? I ain't never seen one. I said, you seen any place where the trees have been chewed off? I don't. So we was sitting there. We decided to check our bait. So we reeled our poles in and put fresh bait on, cast it back out, stuck them in a pole holder in case we fell asleep again. Next thing you know, something from behind us splashed the shit out of damn near turned the boat over. William goes, that's it. We get back to the truck, I'm getting that gun out and I'm shooting that goddamn beaver. I said, I'm telling you, it ain't a beaver. You would have heard a slap on the water. That's what they do. They slap on the water and they get nervous or angry. So we're sitting there. Both of us are sleepy as hell. But we're sitting there trying to concentrate. And we turn because we hear something come up out of the water. Right against the boat. And you could feel the boat kind of lift on one side. We turned and looked. There was a lady in the goddamn lake. She come up from the depths of the lake someplace. And she's rising up out of the water. And we're watching her thinking, what in the God, where the hell did this heifer come from? She rose out up to her waist. We looked over at Bobby Dean and Pollock, he's asleep. Like, well, who the hell is this son of a bitch? And we're getting ready to bail. And this lady's sitting there and she goes, hey, I know you guys are sad about that young man over there. Yeah, we think he's dying. She goes, well, I'll tell you what. What would it be worth to you? What would you give up or what would you sacrifice if that boy was cured? Like, I don't know what we would have to offer. You know, what kind of price do you put on something like that? She goes, well, how about I make the choice for you? Okay, well, let's see what the deal is. She looked at William and she goes, the lighter part of your life, you've had it easy all this time. The lighter part of your life is going to be really rough on you. Here's the deal. You have to suffer through it in order for him to be well again. William didn't know what the hell to say. He looked at me and I looked at him like, is this for real? We ain't dreaming, are we? And she turned and looked at me and she goes, "You know what the price is for you?" "No." "What's your offer? What's the deal?" "After this time passes, you'll never have friends like these two again, and you all eventually go your separate ways. Oh, you'll run into each other once in a while, but it'll never be like what you've experienced growing up with these two." I said, "So that's going to be my suffering?" "Yep." "Are you in or you out?" "Well, let me ask you this question. Do we get a few more years to spend together before this takes place?" "Yeah." I didn't like the deal, but our friend was dying over there, so we took the deal. The lady stuck her hands out. Now, she's not holding on to nothing. She stuck her hand out. She's still in the water. And we shake her hand. And she goes, "Don't forget your deal, or you'll pay really dearly. It'll cost you more than that." And she looked straight at William and she goes, "That means you can't kill yourself to get out of your obligation." And she looked at me and she goes, "Remember the deal." We fucking passed out. It was like we couldn't keep our eyes open. We woke up about 2 hours later. The boat had run ashore near some damn briars. Wouldn't it be my luck? We woke up wondering if we had dreamed this or what. So he was laughing. He goes, "Since you're the skinny one, you get your skinny ass out and you push us back into the water, because you can get around them briars. They won't get you, but somebody big and fat like me," he said, "I'll be poked to death." And he said, "Besides that, I'll use the boat oar and help push." Okay. So first I gotta look around for snakes, because I don't like snakes. He goes, "Oh, come on, if a snake gets out, I'll kill it with a boat oar." I said, "Bullshit, you'll be in the dead back of the boat. Be me out there running for my life. And you know me, I don't like snakes, I'll have a damn heart attack." I finally get the boat, meaning get it pushed back out there, and we're out of sight of where Pollock is. We get out there, and I'm trying to walk to where the seat is, and I start wobbling. William starts laughing, and he stands up trying to help me, and the frickin' boat tipped. I went in head first, he went in head first. We come up spitting water, blowing water out of our nose, only to hear a damn Pollock on the damn bank up there by the briar patch laughing his ass off. Wondering, was we going to pull the boat to shore, swim it to shore, or was we going to climb in and come and get him? He's up there standing, laughing his ass off at us. So I pull my ass into the boat. William ain't that fortunate. So I told him, "You hang on to the back of the boat and I'll paddle, and you kick with your feet until you can touch bottom. Then you walk ashore and climb back in the boat, and we'll pick up Pollock." You know, we stayed out there until 10:30 that night fishing. Pollock wasn't sick anymore. There wasn't no black rings around his eyes. When we got back to the house, oh my God. There was William's parents there, both of them. And there was both of Pollock's parents. And man, did we get an ass chewing. But when they seen the look on that boy's face, and and how chipper he was and hyperactive, acting crazy again, they was amazed. He had a doctor's appointment that following Wednesday. I ain't sure if it was leukemia or what it was, but he went to the doctor, and whatever it was, they couldn't believe that whatever it was had totally evaded him, just left, gone. They couldn't find no trace of it. They done blood work and everything else. Couldn't find nothing. But that boy was back to being old Pollock again. We had several more good years together, having fun, and of course, we all started getting older, and life is, it kind of takes and separates you, but I still see Pollock at least once every 3 or 4 years. As far as William, last time I seen him was probably about 10 years ago. But, like the lady of the lake said, William is still suffering. And me, haven't found friends like that since. So we're both still suffering, but it's worth it knowing, even though we don't get to see Pollock like we used to, the one thing that she never took from us was the memories that us boys shared just out having a good time. Never hurt nobody, just having a good time and acting fucking foolish. And every time I see old Pollock, I always give him shit. Hey, remember when you go out there and catch them little bitty small fish and you get mad and throw them halfway across that frickin' lake, screaming and hollering at those fish, telling them to bring back a big one for you? You was tired of them stealing your bait? And he'd just sit there and start laughing at his wife and be like, what the hell are you talking about? I said, he's crazier than hell. Ask him about some of the crazy shit he did. Like leaning over the trestle, hollering at a snapping turtle that was in the water because we was fishing at this little trestle. And that crazy bastard was sitting there fishing, and he was hollering at this turtle, and he's like 10 foot in the air above the water, and this turtle kept snapping at his hook. So he started hollering at the turtle, and next thing you know, he went head first in, hit his head on top of the turtle shell, fell in, and this snapping turtle was huge. Hit the water. I'm not kidding you. Me and William started laughing because it looked like he was Jesus running across the water. He was so scared that snapping turtle was going to bite him. When he got to shore, we started laughing. He had a big cut on top of his head where he hit his head on top of that turtle shell and was fighting to get away from that son of a bitch, running toward the shore in the water. Blood was running down his face, and we was laughing. Then we got him in the truck, took him to the hospital. It got him 10 stitches, and them poor doctors in there was laughing their ass off when we told them. They said, goddamn, he smells fishy. Hell yeah, he fell in a damn trestle. Then he got scared because he fell in there because he'd been aggravating that damn snapping turtle, and he hit his head on top of the turtle shell, and that's what split his head. They got to laughing at him. For the next about 6 to 8 weeks, he had a big bald spot right here. So we changed it from just Pollock to the Pollock Dalmatian because he had a big round bald spot on his head. That's the kind of shit he used to do. And we would have to laugh at him. But anyway, our little bit of sacrifice that we made kept him living. That's really all that mattered. Somewhere today, Pollock is out there making somebody laugh. That was the good part about it. Is that somewhere, even though he ain't making us laugh, we still have the memories of stupid shit he was doing that we'd laugh at him about. Somewhere today, I guarantee you, he's either making his kids laugh, his neighbors laugh, or somebody else that he's bumped into, he's doing something crazy, getting somebody to laugh at him. So, sometimes as bad as it hurts, it's still nice to know at least he's out there still laughing. He ain't dead somewhere. We could have lost him a long time ago and always regretted it. So I don't feel bad about the sacrifice I made. Would I do it all over again, change it? No. The people like Polak, those are just once-in-a-lifetime friends. You can't never get another Polak. So it's nice to know that he's out there and he got kids making them laugh. Probably even driving his wife nuts, making her laugh. Everybody around him always gets a good laugh because he's always doing something. So I think that in the long run, it was worth the deal. Now, I don't know if this lady of the lake, if she was a mermaid or some kind of water fairy, water witch. I don't know. I don't even know what her name was, because when we asked her name, she said something and it was real shrill, like somebody scratching on a chalkboard. Couldn't tell you none of that. I didn't see no fishtail or gills. She had a bunch of, looked like weeds that grow in the lake, hanging across, so I don't know what kind of top or anything she had on. All I know is she was covered with that. I call it seaweed, but it's lake weed. Don't really know that much. I know she had pale blue eyes, kind of goldish colored highlighted hair, but that's about all I know. I sometimes wonder if that lake wasn't magical all the time. I don't know. All I know is that's a true story. Polak's still alive. He's out there making some bitch laugh. I guarantee you. Somebody'd better pee their pants just being around watching some of the crazy shit he does. And that right there is enough to put a smile on your face. So it was worth it to me. Even though we don't see each other very often, every so many years we get to bump into each other someplace. And I guarantee you, every time we bump into each other, he sees me first. And I guarantee he'll make a beeline, and as he's coming toward me, he's hollering something crazy, whether it be Walmart or a gas station, wherever. He's hollering crazy shit as he's walking toward me, and everybody's looking and laughing, and I'm like, what the hell's that? Oh, hell, it's Polak. I just hope it would be funny as hell, and this would be my wish on that little bastard, is that one of his kids acts just like he did back then and like he probably still does. That's the curse I would put on him. That way that craziness, that Polakishness, will be carried on to the next generation, maybe the following generation, and just keep going, because they don't make Polak like that anymore. I used to tell him, you know something? When they made you, they destroyed the mold. It's probably a damn good thing, because there can't be everybody get laughing so hard damn near piss themselves at you. But I hope one of his kids acts just like him. That's my curse for that little bastard. One man should never say this about another man, but I gotta say this. Out of all the friends I've ever had, Polak was my best friend. Still is. I still carry a memory in my heart, in my head. That's part of the reason for telling this story. See, a lot of these people I talk about, I don't have no other way of paying tribute to them. So by doing this story, I'm paying tribute to my best friend, Polak. He's a damn good guy, funny as hell. A heart as big as a whorehouse. But crazy as hell. In a fun, loving way. Not mean, not cruel. That poor boy don't have a mean bone in his body. Not even today he don't. I can tell you he don't. As you get older, you always long for these days of yesteryear. The crazy shit us kids used to do. Because we're Generation X. We was the smartest generation out there. We come up with all kinds of shit. So as you get older, you think about these things, and I've been thinking about this story for a few days, wondering, should I tell this story or just carry it with me to the grave? And I thought, no, I'm going to pay tribute to my old friend Polak. I can't figure out no better way. If he was to hear this story, he'd be laughing his ass off. He'd probably be telling his wife and kids. I was laying there asleep, man, sicker than hell. And then all of a sudden, I was cured. And them two crazy guys swear up and down there was a woman out there in the lake. That's the kind of shit he would say. And he would probably even be crazy enough that he hear me telling about him jumping in, falling into the water that time, hit his head on top of that turtle shell, and then trying to walk across the water like Jesus because he was scared shitless that turtle was going to get him. And that we got to laughing, and he had blood running down his face and a big cut on his head. He'd probably even tell her that. He probably even told her. But goddamn, we had some good times. Generation X was the best. I'm telling you, we come up with all kinds of shit. Well, as my wife always says, by telling these stories to y'all, these are stories that be out there for years to come, even after I'm dead and gone. But I can tell you this much. Life has played a few cruel jokes on me. And if I could play one cruel joke as a finger in the eye, my wish would be, if I wasn't going to be cremated, I'd be buried face down with my ass sticking up in the air. So all these people that shit on me and done evil things to me could come by and kiss my ass. But I'm going to be cremated because I'll go out in a flame. In any case, these stories will be out there. Sometimes I have to slip in something crazy just to see if I can get you to laugh. But I thought about this story for quite a while. I kept thinking, should I tell it? And then finally today I thought, what the hell? Polak would get a kick out of this. Because it really did happen. They still don't know how he... Whatever it was he had, we never did find out, they never did tell us. But whatever it was wrong with him, went away on that lake dock that day. And we never did see that woman again. But everything she said was right on the money. I said, we don't see each other very much. William, he's having a rough way of going. The golden spoon's been yanked out of his mouth all of a sudden. So, we're both paying for our friend Polak. I guess, hell, he was worth it. If we had to do it all again, we'd probably do the same thing again. Ain't no problem about it, we would. I'd have no hesitation. That's how much he meant to me. He's a damn good guy. So, y'all think about this story. When you do, you get a smile on your face, just remember, you heard it from Henry. And it's the truth. These two boys really do exist. The one was sick, and we did see a lady, whatever she was, a lady witch, lady water fairy, whatever the hell she was. But he did get cured that day, and the doctors have no rhyme or reason for it. They don't understand. So I guess it is true, Miracles do exist. They do happen randomly sometimes. And like my grandpa used to say, we shouldn't lick a good horse in the mouth, just accept the fact that it was a miracle. And that this lady, whatever she was, she made a deal with us, and we got our wish, and we got our curse. So, I guess it all worked out. Polak's still running around being crazy as shit. He's had some offspring and got married. So the next generation of Polaks are growing up. Who knows? Maybe your grandkids might run across his grandkids, and they'd be laughing at his grandkids. Because they acting just like him. We'll keep the craziness going on. I guess we shouldn't wish that on humanity, but hell, we all need a good laugh. And trust me, if his kids turn out like him, there's going to be all kinds of laughs going on. Of course, it might drive the cops nuts, and might drive Polak kind of nuts. But hey, he deserves it. If they turn out like him, all's fair in love and war. Well, y'all have a good night, and I just felt compelled to tell that one. It was never one of them stories that really hit me. And I thought about whether I should share it or not, and that's why we're here. So, like I said, I still don't know what the lady was. That's, I guess, for me not to ever figure out. Just be lucky that she was there and showed up when she did, even though she almost turned us over in a goddamn boat. We did get a swim out of it that day. Well, y'all have a good night, and I'll catch you on the next one. It's been a long, hot day. So, be good to one another, and next time you're out there fishing on that lake, be thinking about me, William, and Polak. But don't blame me if you get to laughing and fall out of the boat, because that's not my problem. But next time you're out there fishing, or you see some boys out there fishing in a lake, a stream, a river, or whatever, maybe you might think about this story. Or maybe even your grandkids out there fishing and having fun, and it might make you even think about this story. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and all comments are appreciated. Likes, thumbs up, whatever. I ain't here for the money or anything other than just tell the stories that's locked up here. Up here and in here. So, have a good night. Be good to each other. Take care. Talk to you another time. There's more stories to come, trust me. I'll catch you on the next video. Good night.